Hi, everybody. Sorry, we had a little technical problem. Okay. And I changed my microphone to the correct one. Can you hear me? Okay, great. Okay, welcome back. Today will be one of the classes that is probably, if you hear it for the first time, it will be like first time you heard about the pen, because I don't know how about you. I always had this uncertainty about past and future lives, and I was sure that nobody can really prove it to me logically, and still they did. And the promise of today's class is that if you will be able to follow the logic from the beginning to the end, with open mind, then by the end of this class, you will have to admit that you had past and future lives, even you do not remember. You will see it with the third eye of your logic. So, just to remind you about the context where we are in ACI 4, where we try to prove that three things exist using our logic. That somebody can become totally correct, meaning become a person who is omniscient, with the body of light, by the way, that does not die, which is, I think, kind of cool. That nirvana, the state when you no longer will have any mental afflictions, I mean, you will not be able to get upset. And in English, the word upset actually in other languages means sad and angry. I don't know if it is possible to translate it in this way in different languages. So actually it is, I'm sad and angry. This is what the word upset means in English. So you can never be upset, scared, angry, desperate, feel guilt, shame, anything unpleasant, not possible. Not because you are a piece of wood, but because you are out of the seeds. You don't have any seeds that can ripen in one of the states. So prove that the Buddhahood exists, Nirvana exists, and there is a path to become this being who is that cool, has the body of light and omniscient mind with holy great compassion, wanting to have every single being. And our authors, you remember, we are studying Master Dharmakirti, Pramana Vartika, who was commenting on the earlier work of Master Dignaga. And they were debating, all of them basically, like Master Dharmakirti, Master Chandrakirti, later masters, earlier masters, all of them, they were debating, to be honest, very similar beliefs that people have in modern age, right, in our time. And they were trying to prove that that somebody can become a Tsema Kiebu, a person who is totally correct. And we ended up the last class with Charvakas, who are very similar to modern scientists. They say, I believe everything you say, almost. Like, I kind of, I'm fine with the fact that maybe somebody can become totally correct because he became a protector, one gone to bliss, because they are teaching emptiness and reached the holy great compassion, right? Except I have one issue with this. It all starts with the compassion, right? With the great compassion. Like all the good stuff comes with the great compassion. And I have one doubt. And by the way, this doubt will destroy every single argument you have. You would have to develop this great compassion for a long period of time. I mean, eons. It's very difficult to develop that level of compassion. We're not stupid. We understand that with long period of time, it is possible. But your life is short and there is no other life. And there were no other lives before. So, sorry, but your mind is a characteristic of your brain, or a quality of your brain, depends on your brain or rely on your brain, and is a result of your brain, right? So, and today's class will prove to you, and that this is one of the very few proofs that you probably will be able to understand from the first time, or most of you. Because other proofs, they take longer to understand that it's not that the proof is incorrect, is that my mind was so twisted that I could not see the logic. And with the time, especially when you meditate and your mind becomes clear, you can see clearly the connections, and it will be strange that it was not clear before, to be honest. Okay, then let's make sure that you will not lose even one seat from today's class, because it is so amazing and so important. Everybody, including translators, please close your eyes and think that because I understand how this reality works, because I understand that nothing comes from anything else than my seeds, which is emptiness, right? The definition of emptiness. Then I dedicate every single seed I will make during this class to be able to understand this logic, this proof, and every single other proof in ACI classes, in ACI courses, to become this person who is totally correct and who can help every living being. And if you have your teacher, you can ask to bless you, bless your mind to be able to get to the next level of capacities and understand more than you do right now. Go back to your breathing, open your eyes. Okay, let's go. So why? We want to prove that somebody can become a Tsemakiabo, right? And to prove it, we need to prove to Charvakas or to modern scientists, if you want, that the brain is not a product, the mind is not a product of your brain, right? It's not, it is connected somehow. Definitely there is some influence, but it is not correct to consider that it is a product of the brain. Let's start. And what Master Dharmakirti does, he introduces a totally new concept that seemed to be not really related to the subject, to the assertion that he makes, that actually you actually can become a Tsemakyebu, a person who is totally correct, because you have more than one life, right? So, and he introduces a totally different concept that is called material cause. So what is the material cause? It took me a while to understand the difference between material cause and seeds and other stuff. And I suggest you not to go into parallelism right now. Think from the point of view of modern scientists, how they see things, all these ancient Charvakas that were very similar to modern scientists. Actually, I guess Charvakas were kind of extremists, extreme group in India, because mostly, Indians, they would have some kind of Hinduist beliefs, and they would believe in past and future lives. So Charvakas, they were materialist extremists in ancient India, not very, how to say, traditional viewpoint, right? So Master Dharmakirti introduces the word that is very famous. You will hear it again and again and then again. It looks complicated, but it is so important that you will see people who sometimes know only one word in Tibetan, and that's it. Nyerlen Kigyu. Nyerlen Kigyu. So, and it is a material cause, and the definition of it is the main material or main stuff that turns into result. And actually in modern science, because I come from science, I did my PhD thesis when I was 27 in psychosomatic medicine and pediatrics, and I can prove, I can confirm that this is the same definition that we have for the cause in modern science. It is something that turns into the result, that always leads to the result. And he says that material cause is something that flops over into result. It means does not exist at the time of result, right? It's like transforms or turns into the result. And it's like a seed that gives a tree, or it's like clay for a pot, as you can see on this picture. And it is totally different from other factors, right? Or accompanying factors, like, for example, a seed will always give a tree, right? It needs factors like water, sun. It will grow better with fertilizers. But without a seed, you can put any quantity of fertilizers, water, you can water the soil, you can put sunlight, but there will be no result. Without the main cause, without this main thing, there is nothing to turn into the result. And this is so brilliant that even modern scientists would agree that, yeah, okay, I can see that there is a logic in it. I can see that there is always something that flops into a result. And I don't think we have it in the slides, but actually, let's keep in mind that material cause is, first of all, something that should be similar to the result, like the clay and the pot, right? So there is a similarity in the material, or the acorn and the oak tree. It is made of the same material, basically. Anybody can understand that acorn will produce an oak tree. But if I will tell you that I planted a tomato seeds and I got an oak tree, you will think Ina is crazy, right? Because it does not happen. Everybody understands an acorn will give an oak tree. There is a similarity in the substances, right? So there is a similarity. In order something to be a material cause, it should be similar to the result it gives. Second, it flops over into the outcome, into results. And as you can probably guess, when the result comes, it is disappearing. So by the time of the result, the cause, the material cause is gone. There is no acorn when you have an oak tree, because it turned into an oak tree. There is no clay when it was used to make a pot. There is a pot made out of clay. There is no clay anymore. Okay? And I love this proof so much because it's so easy to understand this concept of nierlenkigiu, a material cause. Material cause, something main that turns into a result, and there are secondary factors that are important, but they cannot produce the result without the main cause. So, Master Dharmakirti, by the way, what I didn't tell you, that Kedrubje, who is commenting on these things, he was famous. He was not the famous logician of his time. The famous one was Gyaltsabje. And Geshe Michael, once in front of me, he told that he was sure that Kendrin Peche was in his previous lifetimes, one of his previous lifetimes was Gyaltsabje. So this is why maybe he was so brilliant logician, Kendrin Peche. So Kedrubje, you remember, Jetsun Kappa had two main disciples who also were brilliant scholars, and Gyaltsabje and Kedrubje. So mainly Gyaltsabje was holding his lineage afterwards, and Kedrubje was famous for holding mainly lineage of secret teachings, more or less, but they were the main students. So Kedrubje, he said that in his time, every single Tibetan believed in past and future lives. No one could explain why. And when you do not know why, what you believe is a superstition. Because you do not have any correct perception, right? Any valid, even forget about correct, valid perception on it. It should be either direct perception, or it should be logic, proved by correct logic. And if you don't have either one of these, okay, you can be based on authoritative scriptures, right? If you think that somebody was a Temakiabu, a being who became totally correct, and he left the scripture, or somebody wrote it down based on their words. But if you cannot prove that this guy was a Temakiabu, then you don't have actually any basis in your beliefs. The issue with the beliefs, it's difficult to fight beliefs that you do not know you have and you are not aware of. And cultural beliefs, they are like that. Very difficult to spotlight them. Very difficult. I think you are in a very good position when you change countries, when you get exposed to other cultures, and you see how many things that were by default for you are not at all the same for other people, and they can have some pretty good life, believing in totally different things. And it's good to ask yourself questions. Is it really true what I believe? Why do I think it is correct? And for us, Western people of Western culture, because independently on where you are right now, the whole planet is under the influence of Western culture, and the religion of our culture is science. That's our true religion. That's what we really believe. And unfortunately, in science, there are many limitations, and I can tell you as one of them, right? And I was working on my thesis, and I was thinking how to explain results that I received. And it is very difficult to get to the point where you cannot explain really 100%. You cannot be really sure about what you observe, and just honestly say, this is what I got, and I have no information why. I can see that my physical body, if it is damaged, will influence my mind, but I cannot draw any other conclusions. I can see that when body dies, I cannot access the person anymore. But that's it. This is what I observe. I cannot say that the mind is not there, that the mind died with the body. I don't have anything to prove it. Nothing direct, nothing indirect. And that was a big jump for me at some point. It's very bold for a scientist to admit that they do not really know. So let's go. We continue with the Nierlan-Kigyu. And what we will review with the Nierlan-Kigyu is the very first moment, maybe not of birth, but maybe your belief is that, like in the teachings, we believe that a child or a fetus is aware of itself once it enters once at the moment of conception. The mind enters this little cell that is formed, right? So whatever your belief is, moment of conception, at the moment of birth, it doesn't matter. We want to prove here what is the cause of the mind at the moment, at the very first moment this lifetime. Like whatever you think was your first moment this lifetime, what is the cause of the mind, and other stuff also, but the main thing will be the mind. So, and first, he asks, Master Dharmakirti, let's consider the mind at the moment of birth. It must have a cause, right? And somebody will say, no. And then it leads us to a discussion about, you will be surprised, but all existing things we will review in order to prove where the mind at the very first moment of birth comes from. We will have to review all existing things. So, and we can exclude, right? Okay, that will be the next question. We will exclude unchanging things, right? Because of what? Because mind changes and varies. So all existing things which vary must have a cause, because they are fluctuating, right? They are changing, and something should lead to this fluctuation of the energy within them. And this fluctuation should be done by something else, right? And this is why anything that changes must have a cause. This is why the mind at the moment of birth necessarily must have a cause. Okay. Kiamata kirikpa, right? Mind at birth must have a cause. Is not unchanging. Sorry, Kye is Tibetan for to be born. Matak, not constant or not unchanging. Kirikpa, it's about the mind. Okay, let's do the next question. So before we will come to the debate, to the proofs themselves, we should review, to be honest, everything that exists in the universe. And basically, I was shocked when I heard that in order to prove the reason for something, you have to review every existing thing, because I was thinking we can be limited with something that is obvious, right? But no, in our lineage, it's not that way. And it is very profound, because they are so bold. They say, let's review all existing things. And the big division is that I personally would never think of a changing thing and unchanging things. Like almost everything that you can think of would be a changing thing, like 99.99999999% of things in the universe are changing things. What is an unchanging thing? What is the definition of an unchanging thing? It's a thing that does not change at all from moment to moment. And if you will look around, you can look at your own body, your own mind. It's easy to get this perception that everything is changing. I mean, you may not see the subtle changes just of something, but you can prove with your logic that I do not see myself getting really older right now, but over the time it is visible, right? Or I do not see visibly something is changing, like from the moment to moment, but that's another thing. It does not mean it is not changing, because we know that every single thing will get destroyed, and every single person will die, right? I mean humans. And let's say ordinary beings, right? Not beings who evolved. Okay, so why can't our mind be caused by an unchanging thing? Because if an unchanging thing will cause a changing thing, it will have to lose energy, right? It will have to change. Then we cannot call it an unchanging thing anymore. So, it's unheard of unchanging thing causing a changing thing, right? That is in constant fluctuation. That's it, basically. An unchanging thing cannot impact another thing and stay unchanging. And let's think what are the main unchanging things in the universe that we know about. Basically, there are three of them. First, it's emptiness, like I can take this changing thing, and the fact that this thing does not come from itself is not changing. However, whatever I will do with this thing, like during the whole existence of my phone, it will not be coming from anything else than my seeds. It will not be a self-existing thing. So it means that it is the absolute reality of this object is an unchanging thing. Consider my mind. It is changing from moment to moment, but the emptiness of my mind is never changing. It was never a self-existing thing. It does not come from itself. It comes from my seeds ripening, and I am aware of something. I perceive something, right? Same with my body, same with everything. So emptiness is one thing. Empty space is the second example of an unchanging thing. What is empty space? It's like something cool, nothing cool. Okay, a cool pen. So look at this pen and now think about the space it occupies. Not the space that is around the pen, not the space between these two pens, but the space these pens occupy. And what happens to the space if I move them? Like, what happened to the space they've been in? Can you feel like your mind is like a little bit shaky, right? Like, now think about the place the pens occupy and what happens to this space when I move these pens out of it. Oof. Nothing happens to the space. It does not change even a little bit. It's like a system of coordinates, location, you see? It's not a changing thing. There is a third one, a little bit more complicated. Will take you time to figure it out why this is unchanging. We will not be talking about it right now. I will just name it. Some facts like realizations on the path, like cessation of your mental afflictions, will be an unchanging thing. Cessations, basically. Okay, then let's go back to our beautiful slides. So anything changing cannot be caused by anything unchanging. It does not make any sense, right? Because then we destroy the definition of an unchanging thing if it influences anything, right? And it will take you time and maybe a lot of debates to figure the relationship between an unchanging thing that is like the emptiness of a changing thing and the fact that it is not the cause of the changing thing. We will not be talking about it right now. So remember, we were in all existing things, and we have just decided that cannot be related to anything unchanging, right? So we have refuted this argument. Then what left? Basically, changing things. Mitakpa, right? By the way, it's very also famous. Unchanging things in Tibetan is actually without this negative particle, it's takpa, unchanging. And changing thing is mitakpa, is not takpa in Tibetan. Produces some mistake. It produced some mistakes in translations in the past. So we have mitakpa, changing things. The two famous subdivisions of changing things are physical and mental, or you can say physical matter and the mind. Let's start with physical matter. Like, consider the mind of a baby, newborn baby. And by the way, I should tell you that when we talk about the mind, right, or mental, we talk about 6 things. We talk about awareness of 5 sense powers, awareness of 5 sense powers, not sense powers, not sense organs, not eyes, ears, taste, smell, and touch, but awareness of them, 5. And awareness of our thoughts. So this is mind, this 6. This is mental. And physical is totally different from mental, right? Physical is something we can see, we can touch, we can cut, we can push, we can divide, consists of atoms, what else? So something that can be named as physical. We actually do not think about it when we name it, right? We say, yeah, okay, I can touch it, then it's physical. I can see it, then it's physical, etc. So, and these physical things, we can split them in 2 big categories also. Actually, you can split in more categories, but here we have kind of a simplified version. And there are basically 2 of them. And one is called living physical matter. Living physical matter is our sense organs that is not the same that awareness of our sensations, right? Awareness will go to the mind category, to the mental. But my sensitive cells at the bottom of my eyes, right? They will be at my retina. How you call them? You know, this sensitive cells that are part of your optical nerve, right? So, or like same in my ears, nose, tongue, you know, like my tactile receptors. This is the living physical matter. And every body has it, right? So maybe because it's one of categories of existing things, changing things, and subcategory of physical things. Maybe this can be a cause of your mind at birth, right? Maybe it is because I have these sense powers, then I have my mind. I mean, it's a little bit strange to think about it, but because we really want to review all the possibilities and be sure that we didn't omit anything, then let's go and do it. So what if my mind comes from my sense organs, right? Eyeballs, ear, and not eyeballs, but the sensitive part, the nerves in my eyeballs, the sensitive receptors in my ears, etc. It's a nonsense, because whatever you say, either it comes from one of them or from the combination of them, like all my sense organs produce my mind, right? It does not make any sense, because it will contradict the material cause definition. It cannot be the cause that flops into my mind, because first it should be similar. I mean, I close my eyes, I don't have my eyes seeing an object anymore, and with my mind I actually would have to see the same way with clarity, and it's vague and fuzzy. My memory pictures are not at all that bright, not as bright as in the real time. Then it should flops and disappear. I mean, what does it mean? Once I have my mind, I should lose my sense powers? Or if somebody had his or her sense powers and out of an accident loses hearing capacity, or just with age, or for example, I was very excited to get my new toy, because I'm becoming younger and younger with every year. Now I need this. Does it mean I also lost some mind, with my vision acuity? So it does not make any sense, right? Because the lack of one of them does not lead to lack of your mind. So basically that's it. And this one is the easy one, right? Obviously, my mind cannot come from my sense powers or somebody else's sense powers because of the same things. Because then what? For example, my mother's sense powers, she should become blind when I am born, or what, right? Does not make any sense. Okay, then we consider something else physical. And so we have just proven that all five of them, or any one of them, cannot cause the mind, cannot be a nierlenkig, a material cause for the mind of the first second of life, of the first moment of your life. Okay, let's go to non-living physical matter, which they call outside physical matter. And this is a tricky moment, because the language changes a lot between centuries, and some Westerners, when they read it, they think, because they talk here about four elements of the body, then it's something old, weird, and superstitious. And this is because they do not realize that actually what it means by these four elements, which are Sa, Chu, Me, Lun, right, in Tibetan. Sa is earth, Chu is water, Me is fire, and Lun is wind or air. So they say maybe it comes from something outside. And at that time, and when you will study maybe some deep yoga practices, you will see how helpful this knowledge is. And it actually does make a lot of sense. I mean, you will not find anybody who is more competent than me to talk about it, because I am a medical doctor. I was trained in Western medicine. I mean, I received the most, cannot receive more profound training than I did, right? Because it took me over 10 years overall. And then I studied psychotherapy. I did my thesis on psychosomatic medicine. So I don't know how you can find a person more competent to talk about it, not because I praise myself, it's just the fact. There is a reason why they were talking about qualities of earth, water, fire, and wind. And it makes a lot of sense when you think about physical body and breathing and yoga. But as of today, it is not that important. Just to explain what it means, I will tell you what meant by that. So the earth does not mean I have some dirt inside of me. What they meant is the quality of being stable. By water, they did not mean that all the liquid inside of me. It's about the quality of my body to be flexible, fluctuate. Then the fire is about the heat in my body. And loom, air or wind, is about movement. So modern times, probably they would name it differently. Maybe they would say, consider chemical elements that are outside of your body or something like that. Or I think you could also say that this is a physical matter that is not living. Unlike living, not living physical matter, something like that. The question also comes why they considered these 5 sense organs as living physical matter. And maybe you didn't get this question yet, but I will answer you already because it will take you a long time to find to look for the answer. If you will think about a living person, somebody who consider the first moment of consciousness. So the only way a person can be aware, can make contact with the outside world is through this 5. So basically, the fact that you have this 5 sense powers is equal to the fact that you are alive. And I let you think about it more. So, okay, so we are done with the living physical matter. And I explained that Chi Suk means outside physical matter. So let's consider chemical elements, outside of our body. Can they cause or produce the mind of a newborn baby or your mind at the first moment of your life? Then we say, maybe you think it's a combination of all elements, like all 4 elements, for example, or any combination of molecules, atoms you can think of, or maybe one of them can produce a mind. And you can feel it's an insane idea, right? Because to start with, mind is totally different from physical matter. I mean, physical matter is something that I can see, touch, like grab, divide, cut, push. And mind is invisible and aware. This is the definition of the mind. Invisible and aware. It does not look like physical matter, right? Why do we waste our time? We do not waste our time. Many scientists, they were thinking that they can combine elements somehow, chemical elements, to produce life, and they failed, right? I remember my son was younger, and I was watching a cartoon with him, the Full Metal Alchemist, about two young brothers who lost their mom as a result of some kind of alchemic experiment. And they were trying to get her back. They were missing her, and one of them lost his body. This is why his mind got attached to the armor, and the other one, I don't remember what he lost. So they kind of were grieving because of their mom, and they decided that they will find the spell. They will cast a spell on the equal amount of molecules that normally our body contains, like nitrogen, salts of, I don't know, like all combinations, iron, carbonates, water, like everything. So they did a big pile of it, and then they casted a spell, and it didn't work. Actually, it got worse. And the result, as a result, they had to admit that there was no cause for it to happen, right? There was something deeper why they lost their mom. They cannot recreate her. So it's kind of very similar. Like whatever you will put in front of you, you cast the spell, it will not work, because it's evident the mind that you want is not the same that chemicals. There was no reporting about somebody putting chemicals together and creating a mind. One element did never produce a mind, and combination of elements does not look like produce the mind. So this is why we can refute this argument as well. Whew. Okay, 2 done. Live in physical matter and outside physical matter. Yeah, and remember, the trick is, once you will prove to yourself where does the first moment of your consciousness this lifetime comes from, you will prove automatically that you have countless past lives and countless future lives. Very important. You will see why. Okay, let's go. Outside physical matter is done. What left? Yeah, by the way, if it would also be related to these 4 elements, it would mean that when I'm getting cold, I'm losing my mind, right? Or if I'm getting dehydrated, I'm losing my mind, or something like that. Okay, then what left? mind left. And I don't know if you know, probably most of you do not know, or you forgot that, by the way, thoughts are not related to mental. And it also took me several years to understand why. So the definition of the mind is invisible, or you can say clear and aware. If you will take an individual thought, it's a thought, it is not aware of something. You can be aware of your thoughts. So a thought, an idea in your mind, it is not mental. And I let you think what this is in this case, okay? And we can discuss it at the questions and answers session while you will be tortured enough. Okay, so what left? Maybe the mind in the first moment of my life is caused by somebody else's mind. Suppose, for example, from parents, right? And this is kind of, in a way, we also believe, like we think that the two cells coming together and somehow, I mean, maybe not the mind of our parents, but some genetics, right? They come together and this is how my mind was created. So somehow we still think that it is related to our parents. But let's think about the material cause definition. So it should flop into the mind of the first moment of life. It should be of the same matter, like same material, like clay and pot, oak and oak tree, and it should disappear. Does it correspond? So let's take the mind of our parents. Does it mean that parents give their qualities to their children? Not necessarily, right? I mean, some of them, it looks like they do. Sometimes we look like our parents, sometimes we don't. Sometimes we do what our parents are doing, sometimes we don't. I mean, I'm the first doctor in my family. My parents were engineers, and we had a lot of different viewpoints, and definitely I had totally different character from theirs. For me, it was visible that I was very different from them. Okay, let's even skip this one. Maybe you will say, yeah, children always resemble their parents. Then what about flops into and disappears? So by the time of birth, my mom gives me birth, and let's say at the moment of birth, I become aware of myself. My mind is born. Then my mom should lose her mind at the moment of birth or conception or whatever you think. It does not happen, right? So it's obvious it's not generally the case at all. So Shenki Gyu or anybody else, maybe when a child is born, somebody else loses their mind around the child. And we cannot say that there are any reporting on that, right? So we just proved that cannot come from our parents, and to be honest, it is silly to think that it comes from any other people. Like maybe it would come at the very least from parents, because at the very least sometimes children, they look like their parents, but anybody else is just straight stupid. Okay, then what left? Where does the mind come from? If it does not come can stop. If it does not come from anything that is physical, because mind is invisible and aware, and physical is something that I can touch, divide, push, see, hear, you know, and so it's not at all the same. It's not unchanging. It's not physical matter. It can be only mental. Mental is similar to mental, right? So necessarily, because we have refuted all other possibilities, it should be mental. This is the only thing that is similar to mental. And it cannot come from our parents or other people around. So what left? What can be the cause of the mind in the first moment of birth? There had to be a previous moment of this mind. Because there is a material cause for the first moment of your mind. What could be this material cause? That's it. So, and to finish, I want to show you again our favorite book, Irreducible Mind, by professor from the University of Virginia, Edward Kelly and Emily Williams Kelly, and other authors. There is a bunch of authors here who they call it toward a psychology for the 21st century, right? So for them, it's something innovative. And the whole book is dedicated to prove that our mind does not come from the brain, which is stupid to think about, to think this way. But when you are brainwashed for a long time, you start believe it. Anything that is invisible and aware cannot come from physical, that you can touch, you can push, you can see, you can hear, etc. And Geshe Michael says that in his monastery, he was the best to defend Charvaka's point of view, because for Tibetans, it is so weird that nobody can really believe it. Nobody can really play it. Yeah, irreducible mind. Okay, that's it for today. I hope that you were able to follow the logic, because I think this is really brilliant. And the more you will think about it, please do homeworks and meditations, because a meditation is a tool to learn it on a totally different level, totally different. There is a big gap between just listening and reflecting in an analytical meditation on the subject. You will be really to have very profound insights if you meditate first and debate it second. And we will do a second class of debates, and you will get this assignment too. Okay, let's close your eyes. If this is true, that you've been listening to this class over 1 hour by now, then that every single seed that we have planted will be very powerful, will help us to understand the most profound ideas of these teachings, in order to apply all of them and reach the point when you will see yourself a Tsema Kyebo, a person who is totally correct, who possesses omniscience and a body of light and is automatically helping every single being in a complete state of bliss. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, translators. You are amazing. I was trying to be as slow as possible. And thank you, all the technical team. Thank you, Elena Smirnova, who is coordinating these ACI classes, and all our ACI team. Thank you, our participants, students. Do not please do not forget to dedicate every single class, because the seats are very expensive. But if you dedicate them, if you do your homeworks, meditate, then you plant better seeds that will lead you to higher teachings with the time. So please do not forget. Okay, we will make a break, because I will go to Diamond Mountain. By the way, please come to Medicine Buddha and Arya Nagarjuna retreat. It will be amazing. I will do a class with Venerable Gyaltsen next Sunday. So we will see each other there if you go to Diamond Mountain. And the retreat will be amazing. And then we fly right away to Paris. If you are in Paris or you were missing Paris for a while, so you can see me on the 23rd of October, and Oля Karasova will let you know where to go, because I don't know myself. Then we fly to India, and we will have a deep dive into Tibetan culture in a Tibetan monastery and Tibetan language for 1 month. We are allowed to live there for 1 month, which is unheard for a woman, I guess, to live that long in a Tibetan male monastery. So, then maybe we will go to Japan. We don't know yet. So I would guess that the rest of classes will probably either happen in India or after India. 3 of them, the most sexy ones, the sexiest ones. Okay. Thank you very much, and stay in touch. Bye.